All right, so hey guys, man, so we got you guys. We have my post-match review of Manchester City nil, Chelsea 1. And to be completely honest with you guys, I once again underestimated Chelsea again this season. I've underestimated Chelsea so much this season that I think the only time I said they would actually prevail was against Porto. Every other time I said Chelsea wouldn't get the best. I mean, I did predict Chelsea to obviously come out the group, but I didn't think they would top the group. And then Chelsea won against Atletico. I didn't think they would do that. Then they won against Real Madrid. I didn't think they would do that. And now they have beaten Manchester City. Chelsea, man, what an insane accomplishment this is. And Thomas Tuchel, man, I'm very, very happy for Thomas Tuchel. He 100% deserved it. And I think what I saw from this game was a team that wanted it more, And don't get me wrong, Manchester City, we know how much they crave for this trophy. But I think on Pep's mind, he always overthinks these things. And this is why when people say he's one of the best managers ever, I don't necessarily know if I can agree with that because he's done this again, guys. And this, in my opinion, was one of the best Manchester City teams we have seen in the Champions League so far. And this has been so good that they have even reached a final for the first time in their history. And I think we all thought to ourselves that the Lyon game was the last game he would do this. Even in this season, he's done that before. I mean, I saw against Borussia Mönchengladbach, they put Bernardo Silva as a false nine. I think I saw against PSG, they put Kevin De Bruyne. It never really came back to bite him. But because it's been working so well, Pep was like, you know what? I'm just going to try something like this in the final and just something a little bit unexpected and try to coach Thomas Tuchel and off guard. And to me, Pep is one of those guys where he's a very intelligent manager. He's a great manager. We cannot deny that. But at times, I feel like he gets a little too clever. And I think we saw that pay dividends here. And that the fact that he did that was crazy. I mean, look at the starting lineup, guys. The most part. I mean, goalkeeper Ederson, obviously good. That back four, pretty good. Maybe Cancelo could start, over Zinchenko, but that's fine. Here's where the midfield. Here's a big issue. And I think Pep lost his final on three instances. Three things I think costed him the final. First of all, he didn't put a CDM in that midfield. And for me, that was a huge problem. And that you have to have a CDM in there. And CDM is very, very important, not only because it helps you defensively solid. It gives you that structure, and it doesn't put so much pressure on center backs, because defending a center back is a very difficult job to do. You have to be tackling very well. You have to be physical. And I feel like a CDM would help so much. And we saw how effective Fernandinho was against PSG. He actually was very good in that game. And I don't understand why Pep Guardiola didn't put a Fernandinho or a Rodri. Either one of the two. Probably Fernandinho should have started. And the fact that he put Bernardo Silva, to me, was absolutely useless. Bernardo Silva, for me, in this game was absolutely useless. He didn't do anything. And for me, it was unnecessary. And because of how the players are, because that midfield is basically very attack-minded. I mean, Gundogan this season, his goal-scoring form has been insane. Foden, we know the type of player he is. And then Silva, And I feel like for me, they needed to put another defensive cover in that midfield. And I feel like they went too attacking. Then the second issue is starting Sterling. Sterling, for me, this season has been absolutely awful. Sterling this season's been awful. He has been terrible this season. And I think that miss against Lyon has changed his entire career. It's changed his entire career, and that he's never been the same. Because let me just say this right now, guys. If he hadn't missed that chance, I think Sterling would have been very, very different. But because he had missed that big chance, I think it's basically costed him his career. It might be a little too premature to say this, but on the basis of this season, I'm completely justified to say this, because this season has just been absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. And I don't understand why Pep Guardiola just started him in this kind of a game of this high magnitude. Now, I don't blame him for bringing him as a substitute. Like, let's say he came as a substitute, then yeah, it makes sense. But you can't start him in this kind of game. You just can't, especially if he's not been playing a lot this season. And that, for me, is very shocking, is that he's benched Sterling. He started Sterling in one of the biggest games in Manchester City's history, as well as Kevin De Bruyne in that false nine. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Kevin De Bruyne. I think Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best midfielders ever. I think his ball and his passing ability is insane. His goal scoring is insane, and his touch and his vision is insane. But him as a false nine is not really the best position for him to be in. I know it worked against PSG, but that's PSG. This is Chelsea. Let's be real. Chelsea is a better team than PSG, collectively speaking. And I just think that for me, it made no sense for him to start. And he had the choice of starting Sergio Aguero or Gabriel Jesus. I would have started Sergio Aguero. I really would have, because this is his last game ever in a Manchester City shirt, and he wanted to win the Champions League on his final game. And I feel like for me, Sergio Aguero, we saw what he did against Everton. He scored a brace. You know what I'm saying? You got to start him in this kind of insane form, and this is the last time you can even start him in this game. You will never be given another chance to start him, and I don't understand why he didn't start him in this kind of game, because in my opinion, he should have started. And for me, that was the biggest issues. As for Chelsea, I think their lineup was pretty spot on. I don't think there's any complaints you can make. Perhaps the biggest complaint you can have is probably Jorginho starting. I think that's a bit of a weird decision. I think Kovacic probably should start. That kind of thing. Or maybe Mount in the midfield and put Pulisic on the left, something like that. But other than that, I think the Chelsea team was spot on. And it goes to show you guys that it was like that. So on the first half as a whole, Chelsea looked inspired. They had so many breakaway chances. Timo Werner had an abundance of chances. And if Timo Werner was like Lewandowski or Aguero, he could have easily had a hat trick. That's how dominant Chelsea were in the first half. Now City did get some close opportunities. I think Sterling had the chance, and I think Zinchenko had a header. All that. It was a very end-to-end. But at the end of the day, you could tell that the Chelsea were more likely to score first. And the first goal came from a really weird angle, and I will talk about that goal specifically. So the first goal came in from Mason Mount. Mason Mount had the vision to find that through ball, and you can see that the City's high line was coming to bite them, and Havertz runs into space from Mason Mount's through ball, and Ederson tries to save it. Ederson rushes out, and he commits himself, and Havertz, was like, what, I'm not going to go through there, I'm just going to go slide to the left, and basically he puts the ball in the empty net to make it 1-0 to Chelsea. And this is what I said about it. Ederson, for me, is a great goalkeeper. I think Ederson's a good goalkeeper, but I don't think he's that amazing. I don't think he's been that amazing. And for me, I feel like for me, this is the type of things I'm talking about. Is that Ederson, for me, at times I feel like he can be a bit too much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at times he's a bit too sweeper, a bit too cautious, a bit too dangerous. And I feel like for me, it came to bite him in this one. And at halftime, it was 1-0. And this for me is another issue I have. Why did Pep Guardiola not make any changes at halftime? He saw that his team was not playing particularly well in the first half. We saw that, and didn't make any changes at halftime. And obviously there was that big incident where Thiago Silva came off injured, and it was a big, really disappointing moment for him, and obviously it was very sad. And then, Rudiger in this game was amazing. Rudiger, in my opinion, this game was absolutely phenomenal. What he did in this game was amazing. Defensively, he looked really, really good. I thought Reece James was amazing. Reece James, in my opinion, was amazing. And obviously we know Kevin De Bruyne got injured. And that was a big injury. And I think at that point, the City's attack basically felt it was likely they wouldn't score. And I think that basically changed everything, And I think for me, that was that. And then Timo Werner, obviously, he had to go off. I don't know why he came off so late. And obviously Sterling, who didn't have such a good game. Kovacic came on for Mount, Gabriel Jesus tries to do it and had got a yellow card. And, overall, man, it was a deserved win for Chelsea. I think Chelsea, for me, this season, they've been absolutely amazing. And I think, for me, they definitely deserved it. I think they definitely deserved it on the final. They looked the better team. I was very, very impressed with them. And congratulations to Chelsea fans. So any Chelsea fans, please come over and, say hi and all that. And I do appreciate you guys. You guys absolutely deserved it. And Manchester City, man, it's very, very sad. And I think, for me, City did have some good opportunities towards the end. They were putting so much pressure in the second half, but at the end of the day, they just weren't going to score. And for me, this game was almost kind of like a game where Chelsea were kind of defending for their lives in the second half, and I felt like City were trying to do it, but because of how good Chelsea had been defensively, it was going to be difficult for them, and it ended up 1-0. And I said in my pre-match preview that I didn't think it would be the most exciting final, and I envisioned a late goal would happen, and obviously it didn't happen here. And Chelsea, man, they won their second Champions League ever. And they've also, Thomas Tuchel has now won the Champions League for the first time in his managerial career, as well as Christian Pulisic is the first American player to win the Champions League. Kante has now won the Champions League. I got to give huge props to him. Thiago Silva has now won his first Champions League. And yeah, man, it's an incredible accomplishment indeed. And I'm very happy for a lot of these Chelsea players. They deserve it, man. Obviously, I'm gutted for Manchester City. I wanted them to win it. But, at the end of the day, guys, it is what it is, And I look at this pro-which match inside. So Chelsea, third English side to win the UEFA Champions League on 2 occasions after Liverpool 2004, 2005, 2008, 2019, Manchester United 1988, 2009, 2007, 2008. Chelsea have lifted the trophy in each of this and 6 or 7 major European finals in their history with this their 4th European success in the Roman Abramovich era alone. Champions League 2020, 2021, 2011, 2012, Europa League 2012, 2013, 2018, 2019. Manchester's Pep Guardiola has lost more matches against Chelsea in all competitions than any other club, losing his last 3 in a row against the Blues. Indeed, the only side that's lost 3 in a row against his managerial career are Real Madrid 2012, 2014, and Liverpool 2018, guys. So that's a very, very interesting some stats there, guys. You know, as you can see, guys, Manchester City only registered 1 shot on target, guys. And it goes to show you guys that possession doesn't mean everything. You know, I think for me, Chelsea, man, they were more threatening. They were more dangerous. And yeah, man, it's a big win for Chelsea, man. A big win for Chelsea. Kai Havertz, man, what a time to score your first goal in the Champions League. And it came out to be the winning goal. I mean, it's an incredible effort, guys. An incredible effort. And it's crazy to believe that Cup was already won a Champions League ahead of Buffon, and even Warner's already won one. You know, it's just crazy, man. This Chelsea team, in my opinion, they won this final not because of how good they were attacking-wise, but because of how good they were defensively. And I think that's very, very key. And as I said in my pre-match preview, that whichever team wins the Champions League, they've reached the final probably more just down to how good they have been defensively. And I think for me, that first goal City conceded was a very, very sloppy goal. I mean, it was very sloppy. I mean, the defenders were all over the place. And for me, that goal could have easily been prevented. You know what I'm saying? So at the end, guys, it's a big win for you guys. And obviously, the UEFA Super Cup, Chelsea's going to be playing against Villarreal. And yeah, guys, we're going to play against Villarreal in the UEFA Super Cup. So it doesn't show right here, guys. And Manchester City do end the season with a double Premier League and the Carabao Cup. And Chelsea do go on to win this. And remember, guys, Chelsea will not go 2 seasons trophyless, because had they had lost this final, guys, it would have been tough for Tuchel, and it would also have been tough for the club because they haven't gone 2 seasons trophyless in a while. So congratulations, Chelsea, man. They obviously deserve it, man. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think, what do you guys think of the final? How do you guys think was a good final? I think it was a decent final. The first half I thought was pretty good. The second half was kind of a bit boring, to be honest with you guys. But yeah, guys, the final is not meant to be exciting. It's meant to be whichever team wins, you know. It's meant to be traumatic, and that's what we like about finals. That finals, anything can happen, as I get said. And once again, guys, the underdogs prevail. So it's interesting to me that underdogs have won the UEFA Europa League and the Champions League this season. How crazy is that, guys? How crazy is that? So I hope you guys, if you guys want to comment, subscribe, check out my description for my Twitter, Discord, and my email, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.